We have fewer democracies in the world today than we did 15 years ago. Fewer. Not more, fewer. I wrote the bill on the environment, on the environment, on the environment. I love those barrettes in her hair, man. I tell you what, look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with her, like a little lady in a race car.
Excuse me. All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here. Another What's Next. Happy Thursday. Well. Has it been 1 year already? Wow. How time flies when you're fighting up the country. Well, it's been 1 year. Today marks the official 1 year anniversary that President Joe Biden, yes, old man Joe, yes, Corn Pop himself, took office in the most ethically run election and became the greatest president in the history of this planet. And he had an incredible, epically incredible first year that any American can be proud of. Yes. A moment of silence just for how great this year was. But he had a press conference last night. He went solo. Yes, he went by himself. He was out there with no guardrails. No one holding his hand. He wasn't strolled out. They didn't have EMTs on standby. Well, maybe they did. We just didn't see it. But he spoke about how great his first year was and the challenges that he had to overcome. Yes, those dastardly challenges. But let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Watch live as Joe Dementia holds rare solo press conference at the White House. We're just going to play a snippet of the greatness that is Joe Biden.
Tomorrow will mark 1 year since I took office. It's been a year of challenges, but it's also been a year of enormous progress.
And let me stop that right there. Now, let's move on, shall we? This comes out of the New York Post. Biden's press conference was an utter disaster. If President Joe Dementia's press conference Wednesday was supposed to inspire confidence, it failed horribly, in my opinion, epically. Even though he spent most of it clearly calling on reporters from a list of safe questioners provided by staff, shocker, he stumbled and bumbled and fumbled, if you say, and all too often made no sense at all. Plus, he repeated his bizarre whisper shout. Yes. I've done so many great things. Listen. Gimmick to emphasize certain points when it was actually emphasized by his age. On that note, he kept walking down memory lane, reminiscing about how, in my day, cable news was like that, Republican Party was like this, and so on. He's fighting old wars in his head, maybe just confused about the modern world. Yet he couldn't remember what he said last week, insisting he had compared opponents of end running the Senate filibuster rules to passing nationalized election law bill to Bull Connor and Jefferson Davis. Yet minutes later, he warned those same Democrat senators that their supposed infamous position will stick with them all the rest of their days. Oof, the threat. Then there was his, quote, confession at the end that he forgot he's president, not a senator, as implicit explanation for his disastrous first year. But earlier, he insisted he had done more than any other president in history. What the fuck? His answers on Ukraine were particularly confused. The issue is pretty straightforward. Vladimir Putin's threatening an invasion that will, if he thinks, can get away with it. Or at least, he'll try to get the West to bribe him by promising much of what he wants without any fighting. Biden seems to offer one bribe by volunteering that NATO won't make Ukraine a member anytime soon. Even if true, why limit your options? Worst, at one point the press suggested that Putin, quote, had no choice but to invade because he boxed himself in. At least we think that's what Biden said. But his syntax made it impossible to say for sure. Then, two, he outright said Putin would win amid a heavy price. The cost of going into Ukraine in terms of physical loss of life of the Russians, they'll be able to prevail over time, but it's going to be heavy. Oh, and Biden suggested Russia might get away with a minor incursion. Yes, we're going to let Russia invade Ukraine, but just a little bit. So it's not all bad. That's an invasion to take place one piece of Ukraine now. And more pieces later. What a disaster. No wonder his staff does everything to keep him away from the press. We move on. Breitbart. The big lie. Joe Biden casts doubts on legitimacy of midterm elections. Yes, those dastardly midterm elections, you dastardly dirty Republicans. President Joe Dementia questioned the legitimacy of the 22 midterm elections after repeatedly election former President Trump. Yes, you, Donald Trump, you've destroyed my first year. And Republicans for casting doubts on the 2020 election. During a press conference at the White House, Biden was asked by a reporter if he believed the upcoming elections will be fair and legitimate. Quote, it all depends on whether or not we're able to make case to the American people that some of this is being set up to try to alter the outcome of the election. Dementia recalled the Americans had the highest voter turnout in the 2020 election ever, though it was held in the middle of the worst pandemic in this world's history. Yes, dirty Decepticons. He raised concern that the Republicans were making it more difficult for minorities to vote. Still waiting on that evidence, calling into question the results of the future elections. Quote, no matter how hard they make for minorities to vote, I think you're going to see them willing to stand in the line and defy the attempt to keep them able to vote, Dementia said. The president conceded, however, that it would be hard to motivate Democrats to get out and vote. It's going to be difficult. I make no bones about it. When asked to clarify his comment, Biden said he was concerned about the 2022 elections being faulty. Oh yeah, I think it could be easily illegitimate. The increase in the prospect of being illegitimate is proportion to not being able to get these reforms passed. Yes, those reforms that would destroy elections across the country. Biden had repeatedly denounced Trump and the Republicans for questioning the results of the 2020 election, warning they had placed a dagger at the throat of democracy. We're a republic. It's no longer about who gets to vote. It's about who's making it harder to vote, Dementia said with an angry speech in Georgia at the time. It was about who gets to count the vote, whether your vote counts at all. It's not hyperbole. This is fact. And now, we wrap it up with Fox News. Biden's press conference gets panned by critics. Total disaster. One commentator quipped, Joe Biden didn't do a press conference for months. We all understand why. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry about that. President Joe Dementia spent 2021 avoiding press conferences, but he held one on Wednesday, which was panned as a total disaster. But the debacle that took place in the podium in the East Room of the White House on Wednesday did little to support the persona according to the reaction of the press conference. The president was criticized throughout his long remarks on issues related to Russian aggression towards Ukraine. He claimed he overperformed expectations. His outburst towards a reporter and more. Let's see. Yes, it talked about the incursion regarding Biden, regarding the Ukraine. Dan McLaughlin. Biden is attacking the legitimacy of the American elections while signaling Putin to try a, quote, minor incursion in Ukraine. None of this is normal. None of this is okay. Wow, that's stating Captain Obvious. Andrew Malcolm. Biden just appeared to okay a minor Russian incursion of Ukraine. So invasion of an independent neighbor nation is bad, and incursion is okay with this president. Another comment. Biden's comments suggested that a minor incursion of Ukraine might draw a vigorous response as a full-scale invasion will trigger a lot of angst in the region, particularly in Kiev. And former White House press secretary, in my opinion, the best one we've had in easily decades, Kayleigh McEnany. Where are the follow-ups from the reporters? Why were there no pushback to Biden saying it's one thing in minor incursion, Russian going into Ukraine? Where is the pushback of Biden claiming to, quote, outperformed, expectations? The list goes on. All pleasantries, no pushback. Overpromise or outperform. Social media quickly circulated the clip of Biden where he appeared to tell reporters he did not overpromise what he could get done his first year, but that he has, on the contrary, outperformed his clusterfuckness, yes, on what people thought he was capable of. I'm not sure what planet he's inhabiting on, but on planet Earth, his record is a record of failure. Republican Senator Ron Johnson. Biden just claimed he outperformed what anybody thought it would happen. Sheer lunacy, Buck Sexton. Joe Biden said he outperformed anyone, while anyone thought it was possible in his first year. Oh yeah, he did. In more ways than one. Outkicks Clay Travis. My thoughts. Wow. I saw a good chunk of the press conference, and it was bad. It was bad. It was as bad as others he's performed. But for him to go out there solo with nobody standing behind him, and of course, he did have a list of safe questions to make sure nobody got out of hand. But between no pushback on questioning the incursion in Ukraine, allowing it, and his, quote, outperformance, it was just stupid. It was just ignorant. It was just to see this old man just look the way he looks, acts the way he acts, and for him to speak the way he speaks, you're seeing him just dissolve in front of you in real time. And it's a sad thing because the memes are just going to keep coming. The gaffes, you can't really call it gaffes anymore. This is who Joe Dementia is. But at the end of the day, once again, we look like a fucking joke in front of the world stage. Putin's laughing his ass off. You know, Jinping in China is laughing his ass off. You got North Korea, Junior over there. He's laughing his ass off. Iran is laughing their ass off. It's just a total clusterfuck, and that's what it is. And that has the first year has been the worst year in this nation's history. He told Carter and Obama, "Hold my beer. I can do worse," and he has, but at the expense of you and me. From the gas prices, to food costs, to energy costs, to the incredible illegal, illegal aliens crossing over the Mexican borders by the truckloads, to the face masks, the illegal vax mandates, which of course got struck down by the Supreme Court. So at least that one good thing came out of the first year. Well, not even that. I'm sorry, it happened this year. Excuse me. Holy cow! But it's just been bad. It's just been bad. It's been a bad first year, and this old dementia-riddled old man doesn't get it. But those who are pulling the strings, they do get it. This is intentional. This cluster is intentional to destroy this nation, to destroy the republic of this nation, to destroy the Constitution, to destroy the freedoms and liberties that we all love and we all take for granted. But, did I forget the 22 elections are this year? So, yeah, all this, come November, remember it. Savor it. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borgonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share, subscribe to it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.